Hey, I'm Bonnie Curry. This is the one and only Jeremy Camp. How are you, friend?
Doing awesome. Like I was saying earlier, this is my first time doing a FaceTime interview. I love this actually.
Yeah,
How about
really
you?
tickled that you've actually made time for me today because I'm trying to think of somebody with a busier life and I don't know that it's possible. You've got brand new CD coming out, which is super cool. You've got a movie about your life that's coming out.
Yeah, what's happening? I
So
got literally
catch
me and
me up. Tell me what's going on in your life, my friend.
well, first of all, me and my wife just really are kind of blown away what's happening. And you said a busy person, and we just wrote a marriage book as well. Me and my wife that comes out next year. Comes out in February of next year.
Okay. Do you sleep?
So
I mean, is that a thing where you guys do you? Yeah, no?
well, I think this is why it's been really sweet because people ask us, "Are you doing too much?" And honestly, I don't feel overwhelmed. I think this is why, because not all good things are God things. What I mean by that is that you can be doing something you think is like a good thing, but God said, "I didn't want you to do that though,"
Yeah.
and you're overwhelmed because you took on something you weren't supposed to. And this is all stuff that I felt like God has opened up
Yeah.
and laid in our heart, and I think that's why it's not as overwhelming or anything that's going to be that's going to I mean, it's overwhelming sometimes naturally. You're like,
Yeah.
okay, it's a lot going on, but it's not where we're freaking out at all, because we're like, God, this is exciting. Like, we're taking this as an exciting new journey of what I don't know what he has in store.
Yeah.
But it's a huge honor.
Okay, so let's start with new music. I'm always
Yeah.
excited about that, because I get to play your songs here on KLTY, which is always
Yeah,
fun. But sometimes I get bored with your old stuff and I want new stuff.
totally. I get that. It's totally okay. This is about my
So let's
family,
talk
like,
about this new album and how you feel about it. Kind of where's your heart with this one?
with this kind of new album came a lot of reflecting, because it started with, of course, with the movie coming out next year. It comes out 3/20/20, it's coming out next year. All the talks with that kind of brought up things in my heart. Let me kind of reverse here. So about a year and a half ago, me and my wife have been dealing with someone that we love very dearly, good friend that we looked up to and trusted, with all of our hearts. And they were dealing with addiction. We didn't know that. And so with that, you start trying to walk through it with them. But with sometimes an addict, as people know, it's hard because they become the victim, and then becomes deception, manipulation, and all that. So what happened was, it really affected me. It affected me and my wife. And it took me to a place where I started lacking trust in people, and then kind of with the Lord. I was like, I don't know if I trust. And so fears, worries, like massive. I mean, it was intense. So then when the movie thing started coming up and talks about that, once again, old things started welling up again that I thought I dealt with, fears and worries and all this, and lack of trust. And so I
Let me pause for a second.
yeah,
So you're human.
I'm human, very much so. And I'm about to tell you how human I am in a second. And so basically, I all of a sudden one night I started to feel like I couldn't breathe, like bad, and I couldn't breathe, and I found myself on the ground, and I was having a panic attack. Well, that didn't go away. It wasn't just a panic attack that like finally goes away.
Yeah.
I stayed in this state for about 2 weeks where I couldn't function. I was bedridden. My wife, we'd be praying and crying out to the Lord, and I started having depression and all these weird thoughts and irrational thoughts. And finally got to the point where God just so lovingly said, do you know how much I love you? Perfect love casts out fear. You trust me. You can trust me. Remember what I've done in your life. Trust me. And you have bitterness in your heart too, And I was like, oh my goodness, from just not trusting our friend, and all that, the hurt that came from that. And finally I started repenting and just saying, God, I'm sorry. And slowly he started releasing that from my heart, and I could breathe again. And it took me a while. It wasn't like all of a sudden like I'm done. It was like this slow lift of dealing with my heart, And finally got to the point where, I just went, oh my word. And God just downloaded these songs for this new record through that. So you're asking where it came from. Well, it came from that. And what happened was, the title track's called The Story's Not Over.
Right.
And the reason why it's called that is because it's me reflecting back on my life because of what this whole movie and everything that's happened and what I went through. And it starts with Dead Man Walking, one of the first songs I wrote, because it was almost like, it's like the first, it's literally like, hey, this is the start of my journey. So let me start with my journey. I was once dead in my trespasses, but I've been made alive in Christ. And just this whole beautiful start of this record. And from that just became this beautiful story. And it goes through my life pretty much. Here's seasons of life I went through this. here's what I went through the last couple of years about fear and anxiety, and how God dealt with my heart. There's a song called Father that one of the parts in the song says, I'm right on the verge of a breakdown. And because I was, and, but the pre-chorus goes, but you hold me in your hands, remind me who I am, or who you are and who I am. And it says, I was born broken so you can make me whole. I'll take my dirt and let you wash over me like water. You're still my Father. And it's just this whole picture of how he took me through these times. And so the whole album really it's probably one of the most vulnerable records I've written in a long time. I'm always vulnerable, but I think because I went through something so intense, it is an intense, transparent record that doesn't hold back. And I think for me, it's a season of being vulnerable and transparent, because with this movie coming out, it's going to open up a lot more conversations.
That's your life, boom, on the big screen.
Massive. So you're going to have these conversations and these very transparent conversations, and I'm going to share, what I've been through and what God's done. And so I think I'm in a state of going, okay, Lord, here's my heart, open wide. You got to help me get through this with strength and grace and all that. And so it's been good. It's hard. It's been really hard. It's been so good, because I know, and we hear this, I love this term because I've experienced it, but then when you're kind of going through a good season, it hit me even more lately that, beauty does come from the brokenness and from the ashes. And I feel like that has been this last season of it was hard, really hard. And God has created something beautiful out of it with this movie and with this album. And this album to me is it's my next journey in my life. And so, and the same with people, no matter what they're going through, the story's not over. He has a plan and a purpose, and he's still there, and he's still faithful, and he's still, is there with his arms ready to wrap you in it, always. So,
I think for me, I've known you for a long time. I mean, it's you've been in Christian music for, I think since you were 3 years old. I think that, I think it feels like that. I would never look at you in all the years that I've known you and ever see somebody that would be on his knees, scared, having a panic attack. But I say this with all the love in my heart. I think it's because you are willing to share that you are not as strong as everybody thinks you are.
Yeah.
And that you had this thing happen in your life that genuinely cratered what you were. There are so many people that think that Christians don't go through these kinds of things, that things like depression or panic attacks, or even that moment of just genuinely questioning everything around you. You can't be a Christian and do that. And especially where you are, it's not even just that you're a Christian sharing that. You're a Christian artist. You're in front of millions of people.
Yeah.
How could you share this weakness in yourself? I'm proud and happy, and I'm sorry that you went through that. But brother, you know where my heart is. I'm grateful that you've turned it into something that God can turn into beauty in your life, and to share that. I think, are you ready to be that open with everybody that might be reaching out and saying, hey, dude, can I share with you what happened to me?
Yeah, I think honestly, God has prepared my heart. And not that you're always like, I've got it, I'm ready, because you don't know until you're there.
I would say, Dodge, can you say that?
And that's honestly, so I'm like, even people are like, oh, so, this new season is exciting. I'm like, yeah, it's exciting, but it's a little scary. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, here's my life, everything about it. And my wife, is going to have to deal with, to be honest, I've thought about this for her, and you guys pray for her. It's like, and she's not freaking out, but it's the reality of going, oh, people are going to depict Jeremy as the guy who lost his wife. And then, oh, that's the other girl. They're going to watch this movie and fall in love with Melissa and go, oh, wow. And then oh, he got remarried, okay. Yeah. And not understand the dynamics of anything. Yeah. And, I think that's where, honestly, with the book that we wrote it's so key, because it's sharing our story, but not just sharing our story. It's like a marriage book too. It's sharing our story, but it's sharing what we've learned in marriage and what we've learned in our next season of life, because it's not just, it didn't end there. I have 3 kids, 15, 13, and 8. And
that is crazy to me. I remember when you first had your first child, and I'm going, okay, wait, that makes me super old at this point.
Oh, it's insane, isn't it? And that's what I mean. It's just all insane. And so to know that God's not done with me yet, in that sense of oh, okay, I've been doing this for a long time, and I feel like I'm about ready to step into a bigger season I ever have in my life, of depth, not just size. I'm just telling you, I feel like that some people are like, yeah, it's going to be a big, I'm like, oh, whatever that is, I don't know. The depth of what I feel like is going to happen, I think is going to be greater than ever before. And that's what I look forward to. I've been doing this long enough where I don't need the accolades. I don't need the big stuff. I just want depth. You know, I'm getting older now, and my kids are watching my life and they're learning, and I want them to see depth. So
I like that. So to wrap this up, I like the simplicity of asking this single question. What's the best thing that's happened to you today?
my son came up to me this morning and he gave me a big squeeze of my neck and goes, "Daddy, I love you." He's 8 years old. Whew, sorry. Great. Now, see, that's what happened with FaceTime.
Don't you dare. That's real and that's human.
And I think, to me, you know, I've been doing this for so long, and the reality of, like, even what you said, I'm human, and you know, it's been a long road.
Yeah. What I love about that is that you are man enough to tear up at the idea of your 8-year-old son wrapping his arms around you and saying, "Daddy, I love you." That is a good thing that happened.
Yeah, I hope so, you know, and I'm still learning.
Yeah, that's a very good thing that happened today. I will be praying for your sweet wife because
Thank you.
I know she is strong.
Yeah.
And very capable, but you guys are both walking into some very interesting things in your life. And I'm going to be lifting you up as well, because I know with the movie coming out next year, a lot of your lives are going to just be like, hey, here is this. And so, you know, I think of a lot of people that I know, I think you are in a good spot to do this. But
thank you.
Man, I'm excited about the new songs. I'm excited about the new movie. I am excited about a book. And then I'm more excited about, are you going on vacation anytime soon, brother?
Yes, we are. We are. Don't worry, we are.
That is good to hear. Seriously, it is always so good to connect with you, man. And just proud of you, brother. Proud of you.
Thanks, Monty. I appreciate that, Monty. Thank you so much.